So when I first started telling people that I had made the decision to come to India to get my fish treated, there was a lot of concern, basically, from anybody who was asking me about coming to India, about safety, and about basically what was it like, because nobody that I knew had ever gone to India. So I just wanted to get on camera. Seems like that's all I do nowadays. And talk about my experience here. And of course, this is just my experience. I made sure before I came to research my doctor thoroughly, talk to people who had treated, and talk to people who had come here to learn about Pune, to learn about which would be a good hotel to stay in. And I have to say, my experience here has been overwhelmingly positive. The only complaint, for lack of a better word, that I have is that it's really hot and I'm just not used to the heat and the humidity. So from, I guess, 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock, my husband and I just kind of stay around the hotel because we just can't handle the heat. Other than that, one of the biggest differences, I would say, there's traffic, and that took a little while to get used to. We're still not used to it. It's always interesting to try to cross the street. One of the biggest differences, aside from the heat, I would say would be cleanliness. Not used to seeing, I suppose, like not necessarily litter. We see that in Canada all the time, but trash being left by the side of the road. And it's always interesting to be walking down a sidewalk, and then suddenly there is no more sidewalk and you have to cross the street and keep walking down the street. And of course, crossing the street is always interesting. I think I've said that already before. And there is, it's kind of a shock to see the stark difference between people who are doing well financially here and people who are not. There's definitely a big divide. And I suppose you can see that anywhere. I know that exists in Canada as well. But other than those things, I guess I've always been open to travel, open to new cultures and new foods and customs, and Pune is absolutely rich with culture. It's really interesting to see people go on about their day, and just things are so different here. It feels so much more relaxed, so much more laid back. Even things that people eat, I've never seen certain dishes be eaten before. For example, today at breakfast I had some sort of flatbread, and the wait staff put little, I guess, drops, for lack of a better word, again, of sauces by this flatbread, and you just kind of take the bread and dip it in the sauce and eat it that way. There's lots of different dishes. I feel like I'm asking questions all the time. Every single time we go outside, there's just so much to see. I could literally sit in my hotel room and just watch people go on about their day. And when we go out for a walk, I feel like I'm going to get whiplash because I'm always looking at, the different clothes that the people wear and how they just go about their day. It's really very interesting, and I'm absolutely just loving it here. One concern that a lot of people had for me when I was coming here was safety. I chose to stay at a hotel called the JW Marriott, and in my experience so far, it's been a very, very safe hotel. You come in, there's security at the gate. They have dogs to sniff every car that comes in. They check every car that comes in, and shocking for me because, I don't see this often in my day-to-day life back home, but some of the guards have semi-automatic weapons, so I definitely feel safe when I come to the hotel. But to be perfectly honest, when we are out and about just kind of walking the streets of Pune, I feel safe. Of course, you have to exercise caution wherever you go and use some common sense. So we're not outside strolling the streets of Pune at 1 o'clock in the morning, or going down alleys that aren't well lit at 12 o'clock at night or something like that. But as far as just going out and strolling up and down the streets and seeing what we can see and finding what we can find, it's been wonderful. The people here are just wonderful. We definitely get stared at a lot, where we stick out, we're Canadian. But at the same time that the locals are staring at us, I'm staring just as much at them because I'm just so fascinated by the culture and the people, and I feel like they're curious as well and fascinated too. So the stares aren't rude. I don't feel uncomfortable. I just feel like it's curiosity. And we've had lots of people come up and ask where we're from and, wanting to take pictures with us. But for the most part, I guess, like again, aside from the heat, it's just been such a great experience. The people are wonderful. The culture's wonderful. The food is spicy. We even went to Burger King when we first got in because we were just starving. We just got a flight. I think, yeah, we were in transit, so we'd been traveling for 20 hours or so. So we kind of broke down and went to Burger King, and I thought, okay, Burger King. Beef is illegal here, so we didn't have a hamburger, but we had chicken burgers. And even the chicken burger that I had was so spicy, it felt like my mouth was on fire. So it's interesting trying to try the food, but not have my mouth burnt off all the time. Pardon the change in scenery, but I just wanted to pop in and say, because I talked about spicy food in India, the food here is spicy, but you can easily find food that's not spicy. They have all kinds of different types of food. If you want Canadian cuisine, Italian, Chinese, pretty much anything you want, you can get here. One of my prescriptions is to walk as much as I can, so we get out as much as we can when it's not too hot, which, I mean, you have to be careful of when you go outside. And it's really cool that we can walk pretty much in any direction from the hotel and just walk as long as we can possibly stand. If we get too tired, it's really easy to find a rickshaw, wave them down, and go back to the hotel. Have we gotten kind of gouged for the price? Yes. But I guess it's all relative because the Canadian dollar is so much stronger than the Indian rupee that if a rickshaw says, oh, I want to charge you 300 rupees to get back to your hotel, it's really not all that much money in Canadian dollars. So we might learn better how to barter when we're talking to locals to get a drive somewhere to purchase something, but honestly, even what we've been charged so far, it's so cheap that it's not even really something that has offended me. For example, we went to the zoo yesterday. It was really cool. And to get to the zoo and back was about an hour trip. And to get into the zoo, it was 100 rupees for foreigners per person. So we calculated how much that would be in Canadian money, and that was only $15. And we were out and about having a wonderful time for about 3 hours or so. We could never enjoy ourselves and go out and do something back home for so little money. So I've heard a lot about, foreigners getting ripped off, and I think that's true. I think that's true wherever you go. That's just my opinion. But it's all relative. So if you're getting ripped off, but it's only by your cab ride, for example, is $2 instead of $1.50 or $1 Canadian, then you can live with it. The experience is totally worth it. But I just can't wait to explore the city even more and find out what we can find. And I would encourage anybody who's interested in traveling to look into Pune and, of course, exercise caution wherever you go. Make sure that you do your research and choose a spot to stay that is safe. But so far, so good in my experience. I absolutely love it here.